for the sake of the spirit and the afterlife.
You know that in about 120 years from today, all of us that are alive, watching, perhaps listening to this video, will all be dead. Very few might be alive, but nevertheless, all of us will be gone. The question that we need to look at today is, have you ever contemplated asking these three very hard questions? Because they might help us to live a life holistically and to really think a little bit deeper. These questions are: why was I born? Am I doing what I'm here for? What happens when I die? Three very hard questions you may have to meet, and perhaps you have never thought of them before. The final revelation is this: there was never a master, not above, not beyond, not behind, not below, not even beyond the stars. The mystery ends where you begin. The answer to why you are on earth is found within you. But you need an instigator. The book No More Masters does that very, very fairly. It isn't a book only. It is an awakening call which gives you a lifetime opportunity to study, to know, to question, and to venture on your own. You can get this book from Amazon.com or visit our website shown here. The questions we are showing here are not puzzles. Neither are they philosophical.
Most people dodge very difficult
Neither
questions,
do they
filling their days
involve
with noise,
anything
and then
else
anyway,
outside
and they
of
shove
you.
them back into the dark.
They are the three questions that may separate you from the blind masses who, though walking and active on the earth, are just breathing but are not alive. If they do not know why they were born, what they are doing on the earth, and what happens when they die. If they have not answered these questions, it is important now that for you have to write your own answers before you proceed into this video. Just pause this video and answer these three very hard questions you have ever faced to date. Most people dodge them, filling their days with the noise, scrolling through all the gadgets that are there today on the earth, watching other people's lives, celebrating celebrities, watching wars that are going all over the earth. They chase promotions, accumulate stuff, wealth, knowledge, and then they are dead. And then they have to think why they shoved these questions back to the back of their minds. These questions are not too big. They are not too small. But let me assure you and guarantee you that they are very, very unanswerable. They are very, very dangerous because you cannot answer these questions, because they run on a disruptive note on the unanswerable nature of these questions, because they are not a flaw. They are a feature that makes the most important questions tough to ever meet any human being on the earth. There is what we know as the convergence of all truths. When something is real, something is objective, it can be answered easily. Humans converge on it. They shape the answers. For instance, the shape of the earth, the sun, the moon, the structure of DNA. This generated debate at some time, but eventually the debate came to an end. Evidence accumulated, evidence was presented, and the people had an objective truth about it. The sun, the moon, everything people would know. But the questions: why was I born? Am I doing what I'm here for? What happens when I die? Has run across all humanity, across every civilization, every religion, every philosophical school, across billions of minds spanning thousands of years. They have not even had a convergence on a single answer to this question. Some have come up with reincarnation, resurrection, heaven, annihilation, divine purpose, cosmic accident, simulation theory, karmic cycles, ancestral return.
Tag someone who needs
Billions
to
of
face
people
these questions.
hold billions
The
of
book is
positions.
waiting.
A significant
Your
chunk
life
of humanity
is waiting.
never seriously engages with these questions at all, arriving at a non-answer by default in the way they are forced to live. So, why were you born? Two basics to this answer come at hand. Unlike almost all philosophical explanations, the question, why were you born, has to be answered by understanding that the all potential with all possibilities made it possible for you to become a localized puncture point, a wave collapser, to condense the chaos of infinite superposition into the material reality, which we call the third dimension and material stuff that we see. So the body that you have is just an earth suit. You are the horse rider. Your birth was not the arrival of a finished product from a creator, but the deployment of a raw and cured mud brick into a mechanical earth suit, in which, in that earth suit, in that vessel, which is a physical chemical interface, there was a divine spark as a potential. And by friction of this life, it becomes necessary that this divine spark is ignited. And that ignition will have to create its singular frequency signature and maybe become Ildozi or Aku, or a righteous ancestor, or even a god when you die, or when you dispose this body. Therefore, that's the reason why you were born. No one will ever give you such a definition. Therefore, stop playing the role of creation and start the work of an architect. The book No More Masters, Awakened and Uncreated Truth, Destroying God Lies, offers you so that you become a permanent brick, not a temporary dust. That's why you were born, to light that divine spark. So, are you doing, therefore, what you were supposed, or what you are supposed to do on the earth? The measure of your purpose is found in the specific calibration of your intent and frequency. I'm writing a book that deals with this in detail, but for this point in time, on this point, we have to realize that any social or professional milestone that you have achieved is not the purpose of why you were born, other than if it is aiding to your fulfilling your function only as an active resistance to the aesthetic consequences of a life lived on this earth. But if you are on autopilot, or if you have surrendered to another deity, another spirit, you are therefore a passive observer to an intentional force, and it is dictating the flow of events in your life. Most people remain trapped in these lies, in these illusions, which appear real, and they lack mastery, but surrender to an external master. You are here to realize your status as an uncreated truth, meaning your success is defined by how effectively you dismantle the illusion of being a subordinate subject and a governed entity, and instead operate as a sovereign source of your own localized existence and a creator of your own immortality. That's the purpose. So what happens when you die? You either become an Aku, because death is the ultimate decompression, where that localized point of consciousness that we saw, which came over your body after you were born, is now released from the constraints of the third dimension and the biological entity, and it is to break free from the gravity of the electromagnetic attraction it has had on the physical body. That's why our ancestors engaged in the rituals of separation when they were burying you. In this transition, the superposition you spent a lifetime narrowing into a single timeline, dominant specific culture and character, expands back into a field of infinity possibilities, but with the added weight of lightness of your life's alignment. If you have lived under the dominion of masters, you risk being recycled into the entropy of the collective. However, by awakening to the uncreated truth, you ensure that the dissolution of the body does not result in the dissolution of the consciousness that was built. So it allows that consciousness to have escape velocity so that it will navigate the void and not get lost or trapped or tricked or deceived, but becomes a focused frequency that persists beyond the material veil. So the invitation that we are extending to you on these 3 questions is that you should not wait for somebody to solve them for you. These questions are waiting to be lived and experienced in this life. The moment you stop demanding a single right answer and start building your own, that's when existence stops being something that happens to you and starts to become something you are consciously, courageously, intentionally, frequently, vibrationally, and irreversibly building inside the divine spark. So you become the originator and the fulfiller of your purpose through alignment. So you have to understand why you were born and the source and intent, because why you were born attaches you to the physical parents that gave birth to you. But when you were born, there was a imbuing by a source, that a divine spark. That divine spark is you. That needs to be built. The car, the bar built into car bar, light up. That's your function. By executing that calibration purpose and aligning deliberately with Mahati, not his fate. Because when you die, then the conclusion of your activities on earth will be shown. What you become is what you are doing now. You have to build this inner sovereignty, because when you are able to answer why you were born,
Am I
what you are
executing
doing,
my calibrated
is it
purpose?
what you are here for? What happens when you die?
What happens
It
when
means
I die?
that you are treating the inner sovereignty to start to light up and ignite the divine spark. You are writing your own script. Imperfect at first, but inquisitive souls live with questions. They don't come to a point where they have answered every question. But you have stopped sourcing and outsourcing your meaning of life from somebody. You have stopped even waiting for the universe to hand you a script. You have stopped needing an institution to confirm your worth. You have removed external circumstances to become the final arbiter and a judge of what you feel as your purpose. You are writing your own script, imperfect, evolving, but undeniably yours. Paradoxically, a personalized answer often feels more solid than a dogmatic universal answer ever could. A borrowed answer, however ancient, authoritative, inspired, sits on the surface because it's not coming from the divine spark. It's not coming from the instigation of your mind and of your life and your questioning capacity and ability. It is an answer that you need should be genuinely wrestled with, tested against real experience, revised through suffering and wonder and honest doubt. That answer goes all the way to your signature. It becomes part and parcel of your architecture. When you die, the spirits that are waiting to capture you will see that no, not this one. Not this one. You become capable of living outside of the physical realm consciously without any fear. You have heard the 3 very hard questions today. If you have got any other questions that you think can rival these, please share them in the comments. Because at the end of the day, science, religion, spirituality, all are slave systems. They use different words, but the same trap. Some, they say obey God. Science say trust the data. Spirituality says you are God. But who has defined everything? Somebody else. Have you defined it? All you need is to understand and read this book, No More Masters. It will always show you that you don't need masters. Perhaps you may need partners to partner with others. But no more invisible rulers, no more sacred lies, just you and the uncreated truth, the divine spark that is within you. To explore more on this subject, do not hesitate to send us an email where we are showing here, because we have to deal with the unknowable creator, the chasm, the waters of Nyunyu, the gods, the ancestors, and our universe. I'm your manager to be preacher Rabbi Elem Dumizulkunikeni Mjaganja, a member of Marifad Family Network, saying, yes, these are the most hard questions until the day we breathe the last. Perhaps you've got your own questions. Please do not hesitate. Send us those questions. We learn together and work together. We need to explore more of such subjects and derive beneficial tips in this life and the one life to come. Do not hesitate to also enroll into our many programs. Have a great day. I'm your manager Toby.
For the sake of the spirit and the afterlife.